Sinumsa here at Ngosi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. With me today, I have Amanda Murray and Grant Morel. How are you guys?
Good, ready to be here. Happy
Thank
New
you.
Awesome, awesome. Grant, I can't hear you.
Nice to be back. First time in the new year, so it's good
I
to be
know,
back.
I know. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. So, our topic today is how to overcome anxiety in a world bustling with uncertainty beyond the shadows. So, in this video, we are going to share with you how to overcome anxiety and craft it with empathy and you see Grant and Amanda there, the expertise, and myself, and will unveil the multifaceted nature of anxiety while providing practical tools to break free from its suffocating grasps. So, what do you think about this topic, Amanda?
I love this topic because I think the stats are like 1 in 3 or one in something, or sorry, people struggle with anxiety. I'd have to look it up, but I know I've looked it up before, and there's a lot of people who struggle with anxiety at different points in their lives, and sometimes we don't even realize that it is anxiety that is causing us to feel the way that we're feeling. And so I think this is a really important topic because there's lots of strategies that you can use before even, and I've struggled with anxiety like my whole life, so it's a really dear to me topic, and the what I've been through learning about what anxiety is and how to overcome it and how to thrive and recognize when it's my anxiety that's causing me strife. And so yeah, I think this is a great topic and I'm excited to talk about it today. What about you, Grant?
Thank you, Amanda. What do I think about it is a subject, which you say, touches everybody's life. Um, Mental health, it starts in many different ways, but anxiety is a key one. Stress is about something that happened, and anxiety is about something that hasn't happened yet, but you're anticipating in anxiety. And there's a lot of things for people to be pensive around. Christmas, New Year, families, New Year, job cuts going along. And some people just get anxious about the weather. They just don't like the cold weather. I don't like it. I don't like the lights and nights, but it affects some people worse. It could be from anything to anything. But yeah, mental welfare is an issue. I was talking to a very good colleague last night who's in a charity, and he's suffering a bereavement. So he's got a sort of not anxiety, but stress of something that happened. He's grieving. So it's all around us all the time. So it's a great subject to talk about because it does affect nearly everybody at some point. So let's all learn how to deal with it and live a better life. That's what I feel like saying. Over to you, Nomsa. What are you thinking? How did you want to start the subject?
Is the darkness, anxiety is the darkness. Like Amanda said, anxiety, it does affect people in so many ways. There are some families that they have a history with the anxiety, and it affects their bloodline as well. People in different stages. I know a family that they have this anxiety where somebody ends up taking their own lives, which is here in the UK. So it is a big thing, but people don't, because everything comes down to mentally health problems if you don't manage it properly. But there are some people like Amanda who actually have worked out how to actually manage it properly, and they just instead they're not coping, but they're managing it like a self-help meditation and things like that, where they don't rely on medication. But sometimes it can become an obsession where somebody, if without medication, if they cannot survive, and without it, or sometimes they survive and they end up sinking into depression and taking their own life. So it does affect. My friend took her own life during lockdown as well because of anxiety and depression, but she was normal. We didn't know that she suffered from anxiety. So it is out there, it does affect people. And if you're somebody out there that is affected by it, don't think that people don't care. Just seek support wherever you are, because it's a darkness where sometimes you might need to find things or go to some deliverance, and just find a professional that can help you to deal with. Over to you, Amanda.
Well, anxiety can show up in like so many different ways. Sometimes it can show up as like a tummy ache, right? As a child, I remember always having a tummy ache and then learning later on as an adult, oh, it was probably my anxiety that was causing that. It wasn't actually like that I had a tummy ache, just manifested in that form. And so it was interesting when I look back, I like always had like Pepto-Bismol tabs in my like backpack. And if I had those, I was fine. But if I didn't have those, I would get really, really, really anxious and be like, but I need them for my stomach ache, right? And so but now looking back, I'm like, oh, that's why I needed those. And that's why, and even if as long as I had them with me, I was okay. And so I think about those things and I'm like, wow, like if my parents had known that it was anxiety, then I could have dealt with it in different ways. And it wasn't until I went to university and then talked to the doctor at that time that he was like, I think you have anxiety. And so that was something. And then I was like on and off prescription medications for probably like 15 years. But and then after watching what happened with the pharmaceutical companies throughout COVID, I decided I didn't want to be on pharmaceuticals anymore because I don't trust them, which probably is also linked to anxiety. But I decided to start using natural forms, so natural supplements instead. And that's actually been the best for me. And I know that's not going to work best for everybody, but the best thing for me, it actually helps me a lot more than any pharmaceutical that I've ever been on. And then also having other strategies like meditation, going to yoga, going to the gym, getting out for walks. Um, there's also like there's breathing techniques that you can do, there's tapping techniques that you can do. There's just so many other things as well. And then I realized too that I have like an anxious attachment style. If you read the book Attached, and it's about, I forget the subtitle of the book Attached, but it's about anxious and avoidant attachment styles. And it's such a good book. It was very eye-opening on how you feel loved, and then when you're not feeling loved, how your reactions happen, and then how somebody who avoidant like spikes that anxiety and then also how if you have somebody who's securely attached, they actually know how to easily calm your anxiety, and then you don't end up in that anxious state anymore. And then it made so much sense of relationships that I've watched myself go through in the past where I get anxious about something, talk to the person about it. They either avoid or they like deal with it right away. And if they avoid, then my anxiety goes way up and the relationship eventually just ends because it can't function when with an avoidant and a anxious attached person. And so one thing it's good to recognize too, because I recognize that when in relationships now as well, where noticing that my anxiety is going up because of these attachment styles, and I can see myself and watch myself doing it. And so then I can recognize too, like, oh, maybe this person isn't a good fit for me because they're not able to attend to my needs. Or here, read this book because it basically is like a manual on how to deal with me when I'm in those states of anxiety, because it's like that connection that you're seeking when you start to feel anxious. And so I think it's a really something that people need to really look into when they may think that they have anxiety, and that there's so many different tools out there, and medication is definitely one that works for some people, and it some people it's like their savior, and some people it doesn't work for. And what I think with medication too is that it's a band-aid solution. You also have to dig deeper and go to counseling and read a bunch of books and do use all of the tools that you possibly can, rather than just being like, okay, I got my anxiety medications, I'm fixed. That's not gonna fix it. You need to have other tools as well. I think that it's like something that can help you as a tool along the way, but it's not the be all and end all. What do you think, Grant?
Think you're absolutely right. It's not the be all and end all, as you said. There are other things. There's many ways to deal with it, and I think to a certain extent it's down to the individual. You have to be prepared to look around if you've got anxiety to see what it is. Um, Years ago, I went through a relationship split up, and I had a really tough time with it. And I think that's kind of how I got into what I'm doing in the first place. You know, I found ways through it, and I was feeling very, very rough. But what I did, I just it was kind of like question therapy for myself, and I just didn't read any books about it. I just asked myself lots of questions about how I was feeling, what had caused it, why I was feeling so lost about that person, why I was happy before I even knew they existed. I could be happy before and not after. What was missing in myself that wasn't fulfilled. So I asked all these questions. On top of that, I started going to the gym. And that's what I did. And that really, oddly enough, it really helped. I wasn't really a typical gym sort of person, but I went. And it was a bit of discipline. I could start to feel some change in my body. It started to feel good. I started to a certain extent appreciating myself a bit more. Um, and it perhaps wasn't the healthiest form of respect, but or at least I didn't think it was, but I knew it felt a lot better than how I had been feeling. So I thought that this is good for now. Let's do that. And I started to learn to appreciate and love myself again. And that was a real big turning point. And, you know, other things came along with that discipline, doing. And if I didn't go to the gym, I started to miss it and be a little bit upset with myself. I didn't go. So it was a good thing. So that worked for me. Later, actually, a guy who was a coach, who actually one of the first people told me that I should be a coach. He went for a sort of relationship split up, and I gave him some advice around this. And he said, "Oh my God, you're very wise." And I said, "Well, not so much wise. I've just been through it, and I learned to find my way out of it because I needed to find a way because I was slipping pretty fast." And that was the way I dealt with that. It is a way; it helps some people, maybe not for others, but I think it's a good thing. Physical activity to put some form of improvement into your body, something different. You're getting out the four walls, and you're seeing a different community of people. It helps. It certainly helps, and you know you're seeing possibilities. I think one of the key things is to get out because if you're in like four walls, all you can see is you and the problem. Once you get out, you see that there is a big world who exists quite happily without your problem, and they aren't particularly interested in your problem because they don't really know about your problem. So it helps you to some extent to put it in perspective and think, well, it's only in my head because it's not in anybody else's head. Nobody else is anxious about it because okay, it doesn't affect them, but how big is it? Coupled with a question that I got from an Anthony Robbins course when I first went 15, 16 years ago. There were several, I mean, there's so many golden nuggets. But one of the greatest things that I took away, well, it was great because it resonated with me for where I was at that time, was to ask yourself this question. If something's bothering you, ask yourself, and you think it's a big problem, start to negate the language. A problem, just call it a challenge. Just start to narrow it down and, oh, it's a big problem. And let's stop and question it. Is it really a big problem? I get it's a problem, or let's just call it a challenge or an opportunity to become stronger. Call it what you will, because language is important. As someone once said, if somebody else spoke to you the same way you spoke to yourself, you'd probably slap them. Okay. A little bit of a humorous twist on it. So be a little bit more kind to yourself with the language you use. And even if it is a problem, is it a big problem? There used to be a TV advertisement years ago about an insurance company. And they used to say, we don't make a drama out of a crisis. So be careful, deal with the facts, not the drama. That takes a whole emotional load off of things before you start. Okay, so the problem is I'm here, I want to be there, that's missing. Good, you got clarity. Do away with the drama. You don't need it. There's enough of that on television. Okay. You don't need any more in your life. Get rid of it. It is not serving you, my friends. I promise you. So once you've done that, is it a big problem? And will this thing that's bothering you now, will it still be a problem in 5 years' time? In many, many cases, the answer is no. Therefore, forget it. It's going to dwindle away. Like all those other problems. And then, half these problems never materialize. I believe it was Mark Twain who once said, in life, we worry about many, many things, some of which actually happen. Which means, of course, the vast majority of things never materialize. So why are we giving ourselves a hard time worrying about these things, which are probably 95% unlikely to ever even happen? So just a little bit of wisdom thinking, I think, sometimes, and just looking at statistics and realizing that the jam we think we're in maybe isn't quite as big as we thought in the first place. Nice thought? I think so. What do you think? What do you think, Momsa?
Katie, when you say the language is important, the words that we speak, we are planting it in our subconscious mind. So it's very, very important to actually to speak life to whatever we do in life, even to be aware of our thoughts. And Amanda mentioned that she meditates. When you meditate, that means you are in the present moment. You're living in the present moment. When those thoughts present themselves that are not wanted, you're able to actually to say no. I don't want to think like this. This is how you're able to actually uh, control your thoughts, and you're able to shift your mindset wherever you find yourself thinking about things that are not true about yourself. Like Grant, you mentioned that the advice that we give our friends is important, that we give it to us, that advice. I'm always have my earphones on when I'm going out. I'm always listening to the music. But at the same time, when my thoughts comes that I don't want, I always let them know that there's not how I want to think. This is how I want to think. So it's very, very important. And I also like Amanda what she said, that she stopped using medication, and she now using natural products, and she also working hard to work on her body, because our body, we are the instrument of ourselves. So we can tell our body how we want it, even though in her family they have a foundation of anxiety, but she has refused to say, you're not going to control my life. I am going to decide when I take the medication or when I don't. And she came out of the medication. She is actually living a life where she meditates. She does all these exercises for her to feel better. I did that when I went through uh, a divorce. I just find myself, I was getting lost. I was lost, but I managed to get rid of it straight away, because in my family, we don't have a history of anxiety. So for me, what I did, it was prayer and fasting and getting into deliverance. And that helped me to actually, and working on the forgiveness as well, because sometimes in our subconscious mind, there are roots that we need to be aware of, maybe unforgiveness, and that can affect of our lives. Or sometimes it could be the bloodline. If that thing is in the bloodline, it means you need to go into that foundation of the bloodline, uproot every code, and that needs hard work. It requires somebody that knows how to do it. So you have to do that. But like Amanda said, it affects people in so many ways. And also the important thing that we need to do is not comparing our lives, our anxiety with somebody else. because we are all individual and we are all different. We fight different battles as well. We come from different bloodline. So we have to look at our problem and say, okay, this is I'm going through. Find that strategy that works for you. And once you find that strategy, create it, that habit. If it works, create a habit to actually make sure that your lifestyle, like Amanda mentioned, lifestyle attachment. And also, like when she was talking about relationship, that sometimes she enters a relationship and she can see that the relationship is not working, and then she has to step away. But some people don't. They will stay in that relationship and they will make things worse. When you already have problems, it just makes things worse. So it's just important it's just well-being and looking after yourself and taking good care of yourself. That's all I will say as well. That is very, very important. Over to you, Amanda.
I think there've been so many great points. Like I like how Grant was talking about getting to the gym and how that really helped, because I know for myself, like getting out and getting exercise is one of the most important things. And I know I had a friend who said one of their friends was like on medications their whole life and just like never found something, always getting their medication increased, and then finally they were able to get completely off of all their medications, and the one thing that fixed it was going to the gym and going to the gym consistently every single day. And they like just went on and on and on and on, and it was really physical activity that help them overcome their anxiety. And I know that's different for everybody. And I know for myself, even I've been on and off medications basically like since I was 18. And then 2 years ago now, I think I quit completely. But I may have to go back on it another point in time. I don't know. But I know for right now that I'm able to manage it and keep it at bay by using natural supplements and going to the gym and meditating and getting myself outside and doing tapping techniques. Those are the things that help me. And I've even made some like workbooks on different things to help with anxiety. So one of them's like called Empower You: 6 Steps to Reclaiming the Present Moment. And it has some strategies in here. And that one of them is to just write your story down. Write your story down, and then after that, after you've read it and written your story, then go back and write it in a positive manner. So often we tell our story from the negative because our brains are like almost wired to like look at the worst things that we've been at. But if you actually rewire your brain for gratitude, you can write out your story of like how much you've overcome versus like how much you struggled with. And that just is a completely different energy and vibration. And then the next strategy in this workbook that I made is called forgiveness. And forgiveness isn't about forgiving the other person, it's about forgiving yourself. And that allows you to let go and not hold that anger and resentment stuck in your body. And then another part's about letting go and learn how that when you unconsciously hold, that's keeping you stuck. And so learn techniques to help you just let go and live in the present moment. And that really healing, no matter what the next strategy is about, healing starts with you. So what is it that you're going to do to take the steps to heal and heal your life? And then the next strategy in this book is called What Are Your Patterns? And so you really dive into what your patterns are and how they're affecting you. And you'll really start to recognize what patterns are keeping you stuck and what patterns you're doing every single day. So we are such a pattern like species where we'll like put the same short shoes on our feet in the same way almost every single day. So like if you're always almost always you're like right dominant, you always put your right foot shoe on versus you always put your right hand on like this same leg person. It's crazy how many patterns we have. And so once we learn how to stop those patterns, we can't just stop them. We actually have to replace them with something. So if you're a smoker, you can't just quit smoking and like be like, okay, it's fine. You have to replace that habit And something else. And so maybe that habit, in order for you to actually be able to quit 99% of the thing, it is replacing that habit with something else, replacing that habit with
Is it me or Amanda's audio is no good?
I think it is jumping a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Can you speak, Grant?
I can speak. Yeah.
Okay, yours is clear. Amanda is your background is noisy. I don't know.
like there's no noise here. Is it better now?
No, it was fine before. Do you want to check your on your Zoom the noise, the audio?
I haven't done anything different. I'll just tell the next pattern and then I'll maybe go out and come back in. The last one is shifting your perspective. And so
It's fine now, by the way. Your audio's fine now.
Oh, it must have just been the internet then for a minute. So yeah, shifting your perspective.
Still the same.
Oh,
Mhm.
Okay, those are my patterns. All are ways to shift your ways of thinking from this workbook. It's a workbook on that has things to do for each thing.
Ah, you moved. It's fine now.
but,
You
Oh,
fixed it.
but
weird.
the book, sorry, just the book you were saying there, Amanda, just the last little part you were saying about the book. You just
Mhm.
repeat that was
Oh, about shifting your patterns. So
yeah.
the last strategy of the 6 steps to reclaiming the present moment is about learning how to shift your mindsets. And so shifting your perspective, looking how you look at things is essentially affects your reality. And when you shift your perspective, you can change your life.
Wow, that is quite incredible, and it can be done. I mean, you see people can really change their life, and it's. I think a lot of it is down to how you frame what happens to you. If you look for a lesson, and one of the questions we always ask ourselves is, "What did you learn?" When it happened. Don't just come out as a wounded soldier. Come out and say, "Okay, where was the lesson? Where was the lesson for me there? How can I walk away from this a wiser person than I went in? At least don't walk out empty-handed. What can you walk away with? Try to salvage something. Well, I learned a great lesson. Okay, well that will soften the blow to some extent to come out of it wiser. And there's nearly always a lesson there. And I said to somebody yesterday that made a mistake in the business. Someone I was on a mastermind session, and I was hosting it, and something had gone wrong. And I just thought, let's put a positive spin on it if you can. I just said to him, so what did you learn? What did you learn from that? And what I learned was da 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 da. I said, that's it. Boom, there's your lesson right there. And it softened the blow. At least it was something to take away from it. And they won't be making that mistake again. So again, this is just an example, I think, of how we can choose to look at the things that happen. And also, again, a bit of logical thinking. If something happens and you think, well, there's nothing that can be done about it, then stop beating yourself up about it. It's done. There's nothing you can do about it. Just try to move on. Take the lesson, improve it for next time, but don't drag yourself through the dirt unnecessarily. I think that helps a lot. A lot of people have guilt, shame around things. And we've all done it. We've all done it. We feel guilt or shame about things that have gone wrong. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of it to help you prevent yourself from not doing it again. But once you've learned the lesson, compartmentalize it if you can in a caring way. To care about other people. If you've done something wrong to someone else or something, yes, you should care about that. But learn the lesson, fix it, move on, and try to make it up if you can. That's a better way than sitting there living in guilt and shame, if you can. Just a little thought on that. What do you think about it? Do you think that's true? Is it a good idea or not? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I always ask myself too, if I'm struggling with something, what can I learn from this situation? Right? What can I learn and how is this helping me grow? And when you shift it to from why is this happening to me to what can I learn from this situation? That's a perspective shift, right?
Yeah.
That's a perspective shift. That's a growth mindset shift. And so when we just do that simple, why is this happening to me versus what can I learn? we approach it in a completely different mindset. And that's a growth mindset, which is actually helps us overcome anxiety. So yeah, Grant, I would 100% agree with you.
Good, good. I'm just wondering, has anybody known of any other ways that people deal with anxiety apart from what we mentioned?
Me, just prayer.
Prayer. Okay.
Yeah, prayer, meditating in the Word of God, and fasting. Because when you fast and you pray, and also you ask God to crucify the flesh, because the flesh is the world. So the flesh, if our need are not met, so we want something, it will affect us. So if you crucify your flesh, it means you are living in spirit. Nothing can touch you when you see things. If things go wrong, like myself, there are things that they do go wrong in life, in my environment, and people will be winding me up, wanting me to follow and start getting stressed. I'm like, just calm down. Things will work out just fine, because I'm no longer living in the flesh. I've crucified my flesh. I'm living in spirit, in the realm of the spirit. So, but it takes laws and laws of hard work. Like what Amanda was saying, you have to go step by step, the layers. For me, what I did when things were not working, like Amanda, she mentioned the power of gratitude, and also looking at things like instead of asking yourself, why me? What am I learning from this? For me, I look at things differently. I speak to the situation. Whatever the situation, if it's the business not working well, if it's bringing me anxiety, or if it's bringing pain, all I have to say to God is, my way is not working. Let your way be done in my life, in this business. I ask him to actually help me, to hold my hand. I find that in doing that, using my beliefs, and also I have to mean it. And I have to refuse to actually, because I know if it's finances, we can worry today, but finances tomorrow will be sorted out. If it's the business not going well, you can find a coach and they will help you, or find the resources, and then tomorrow it will be fine. But if I drag my health into it, then I'll have the money with a broken body. So for me, it's like, it's a no, no, no. I have to stop whining. That is the thing that I've stopped. Like, I'm not gonna complain. I have my Father in heaven who actually can hold my hand and show me the way and open the doors, whatever the doors of opportunities. Even if it's a health that is not going well, he can heal as long as I'm willing to cry. So why should I worry? Why should I let the anxiety take over my life? So that's how I do it. I fast 2 days a week, or sometimes I fast 3 days a week. Like right now, I started fasting on the 7th of February. I will finish on the 7th of January. I'll finish on the 7th of February. So with everybody, we fast the whole, there are millions and millions of people. So all that, you just have to find things that works for you. Going to the gym, it works. Doing exercise, because the brain, it needs to we produce chemicals every day by anxiety. We live in this world where it's so fast. Everyone is competing with everybody. Me, I've got out of that part. I don't compete with nobody. Honestly, even with my competitors, what I do is I put my competitors very closer to me. I watch what they do, but I never compete with them. I keep my life so unique that everything that I do, if it's my anxiety, it's my anxiety. I just have to deal with it. But we in this world where people go compare their cars with somebody else, compare their social media with somebody else, business with somebody else, that is a torture. And that for me, freedom, if you want to deal with anxiety, give yourself freedom to be unique and live your life how God expected you to be. And if life is not working that moment, or if there's somebody that you admire, ask them how they are doing things. And also the tapping techniques that Amanda mentioned, the tapping techniques, they are so important. I didn't realize until I did it with Carol Ann. Carol Ann does it when she does her thing, so her coaching. So she did it. So when she was doing it with me, after 5 days, I realized actually there are some things that I did before. I'd move away from those things. It's like when you're tapping things, it's like it wakes up your subconscious, some of your subconscious mind that is going to be hypnotized or that is going to sleep, because we live in this world is stressful. So when you do those tapping techniques, it actually triggers something in your brain. So it triggered something in my brain where I love writing. When I'm doing things like I do writing for living. Like when I'm in the office, I write things, but then I chuck them in the bin. Once I write them down, it goes into my head. I don't need the paper anymore. I have to memorize it. So those are the habits that I had before I had stopped doing it. So just to recognize like what Grant as well was saying. What did Grant say? He said we can choose how we can look at things differently. And you mentioned shame. You mentioned guilty. Some people, they actually, like a Grant, when we talk about how our relationship didn't work before, some people, when they talk about them, they still ashamed of it. They still feel guilty. I should have known better. But this is the world where we don't know the future. And struggles come our way to help us to grow, not for us to feel ashamed or to feel guilty. We have to learn something in those struggles. And once we learn the skills that we learn from them moving forward, we use them to grow, not to feel ashamed, not to feel guilty. And also, when I pray as well, I always ask God to take away my shame, to take away my guilty, whatever. If because sometimes I don't know what I'm feeling in my subconscious mind. So it's very, very important. And meditating is very, very important. Those who are Christian, and speaking in tongues for 30 minutes, 1 hour, every single day is very, very important. Over to you, Amanda. Where's Grant gone? Has he been kicked out?
No, I think he just had something to, because he just turned his camera off. And when Grant asked some other strategies that people have, one of the strategies that I have that we haven't mentioned yet is being creative. And so finding something that you love to create and spending time doing that. And that's one thing that also helps me overcome anxiety. And then another one too is looking at who you surround yourself with. So your vibe attracts your tribe. And if you look up to people and there's people that you are like, oh, I'd love to be like those people, then you need to start associating yourself with people who are doing the things that you wish that you were doing. So even if you start following them on social media or you start associating with people, so it really is about who you surround yourself with, because you are a product of the 5 closest people to you. And so when you look at the 5 closest people to you, then you'll recognize like you're somewhere in the middle of those 5 people. And so what's really important then is to look at who you're surrounding yourself with. And if you're like, oh, they're not really uplifting me, then you might have to start finding other people to surround yourself with, which is, I think, really important. And another one that we haven't talked about yet is goal setting. And so then goal setting and then taking actionable steps to achieve those goals is something that's really, really important too, in order to get yourself out of your anxious state and start like empowering yourself to be like, hey, I can do this. And it can be like a simple goal of like going out for a walk 3 days a week, like even if it's for like 5 minutes, right? Everybody has 15 minutes in a week that they could just get out for a walk. Maybe not in Canada this week because it's like so cold here. But definitely in other places where it's not -20 or -30 with the wind chill, that you have no excuse for not being able to go for a walk or at least get some exercise just by getting outside. So there's so many things that you can do. It's just sometimes we get stuck in that like anxious freeze state, and it's really hard to pull yourself out of it, where you just are like feeling sorry for yourself, and just like it's almost like you feel like you're like shrinking into yourself, because I know that feeling so all too well. And yeah, so those are some strategies that we haven't talked about yet that I think are ones that definitely could be added to the list as well.
Well, for me, it is exercise, it is meditation, it is talking to people, but also music. Can't we all gather information from music? Some people like to dance. People dance their problems away. Some people. Some it's craft. They will sit there and they'll do they'll create a painting or something like this. They'll paint something or they'll crochet. Like knitting. It's all an occupation. It's a way of diverting the mind from something. There are all kinds of things you can do, and I think again it would be wrong for us to sit there and say you should do this, but you should try several things and see what fits for you, because there's normally something, and we're all wired a little bit different. But I'd be interested in the viewers, if anyone on social media is listening in, what they've tried in the past, what's worked for them, or what if they know something that's worked really well for other people. And there's a range of things. They say, so there's church, there's religion, there's counseling, um, there's exercise, there's meditation, there's prayer, there's all kinds of things you can do. But the important thing is to do something and see what works, because you only need to get a small shift, and then it starts to show your mind, it gives your mind evidence that you can change. We've said this before, it's so true. So remember, small hinges swing large doors. Okay. So it can be a small thing that can make a big opening, a difference. So you're only looking for something small there, okay? So that's my thought on it. Always be looking for the shift, an opportunity. You only need to, it's like opening a door that's jammed. You get something in the door, you open it, you put a knife or lever, and you just lever it open. And it's just like that. You've just got to get a little part in there. And once you've done that, you get the chink of light that comes in. That makes all the difference. Have you ever experienced that yourself, when you're feeling anxiety and you do something that just allows a little bit of light in, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel? So you hang on to that. You can see you've made a change, and it gives you confidence. Have you guys ever experienced that?
What did you say, Grant? Have
Have
we
you
ever experienced?
experienced the little chink of light? If you make a slight change, if you're anxious, you made a slight change, you've done something, whether that means going for a jog, whether it means listening to music, whether it means prayer. And once you get that first glimmer of hope, that slight little feeling of just feeling a little bit different, that gives you the hope, the confidence to carry on, because you know it's working. Even though it's small, the compass starts to spin into the right direction. Can you think of an example where you've done that?
Me is when went to church one day and had this my pastor saying the reason why we're struggling the way we're struggling is because we have no power, we have no authority over our lives. So he kept going on, he kept going on. So I was like, I feel that he was talking to me. So when I got home, I had to sit down and had some thoughts. But he had given us one line, what to do when you feel that you don't have power. And I didn't have power, I didn't have authority within my body, within my thoughts and my feelings. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use this strategy. It's MFM. I go to MFM church, by the way. And so I started calling God himself, like the way he's instructed us to do. I was like, every time I have a problem, so I do it half an hour or every day. I call him out. But now, because it's a habit, I don't have that sadness in me anymore.
Uh-huh.
There's always joy because, but it's very, you have to do it if you're really, really ready for the truth about your life, or if there is something with sickness or a blockage, whatever you're struggling with. When you call him out, you got to call him out for him to reveal the truth why you go through why you're going through. So I did it myself. I do it every day now. It works. Wherever I need him, I need God every single day, but whenever I say the prayer, He always tells me why. Or sometimes, if it's sadness, He always remind me the tough times where He brought me out of, and He always remind me there is hope in my life. He always remind me there is a reason why I'm here. So it does work, but you have to, it's very, very dangerous if you're somebody who is very comfortable, who does not want to know the truth, because there are some people that they say, I want to succeed in life, but they don't. Or I feel stuck. I want to come out of it, but they don't. So if you use this prayer, raw power of God, fall upon me now every single day for half an hour, he just comes in and use the Holy Spirit to speak to you and say you are struggling because of this. I have had so many revelations. I had struggles before. I was getting attacks, praying. My business wasn't going well. And then he came in and told me that I come from a royal family. Coming from a royal family involves bloodshed. So I need to pray about that, which is something that I wasn't aware of. But my family, the elders, they knew, but I wasn't aware of that. So I had to deal with those kind of things. And also, as a Black person, the slavery is gone now in the physically, but in the physically, there was still some powers that say to Black people, there's how far you can go as a Black person. So if you find yourself stuck, because I was like getting anxiety, not understanding why am I trying so hard to succeed. And every time I try to find that breakthrough, it just falls apart. So I call him out, and he said to me, the physically slavery is gone, but I'm still under slavery in the spirit realm. So I need to communicate. I need to communicate my feelings. So then I had a showdown with the United Kingdom ancestors, and that's when they let me go. So it's all different, depending with your beliefs and how you believe. And that's why for me, myself, I don't believe in anxiety anymore. I know that it is the foundation of what we go through in life. That, like Amanda, she has managed to actually conquer that pain that she was going through. So you just have to find that breakthrough. She did, she found that breakthrough. She's happy, but some people it affects them in so many ways. So you just have to find that breakthrough that works for you. For me, that works for me.
Quite incredible. Quite incredible. So I just want have you got any questions, Nomsa? Any questions, Lubna, in the social media? I'm sure you probably answered a couple, but are there any outstanding ones?
No one has typed in any questions. You have people watching, but no one has typed in any questions.
All right. So I just wonder if anyone is out there, if you've got any questions, just type it in for the next few minutes while we're here, and we can answer your questions. Or if you want to know how to get through anxiety, or where to begin, or how to help someone else, or even if you've got a comment, just type it in the next couple of moments. I would be happy to take a look at that. But I think, in conclusion, um, what people should do, I think there's a lot to be said for being around other people. I know some people are naturally loners and they don't like to be around other people, but there is a certain comfort that can be got from other people. If you're if you're anxious about something else, pets are a great example, great thing. It's said that tropical fish in a tank are very soothing for people. But generally, all pets provide love and care and unconditional love. So they're a great thing to have. But I think There's a combination between practically working on the problem. Us guys, we do that. We like to practically look at things, but also do that, but also give yourself a chance with communication, with nature, getting out in nature and seeing how powerful nature is. Now it's bigger than all of this, and it's been there for millions of years, and it'll be there for years to come, I'm sure. So it helps again to put your problems into perspective. So exercise, diet makes a big difference, right? The amount of goodness that you actually put into yourself is going to make a huge difference to the way you perform, the way you think. A friend of mine who used to suffer quite a bit with depression would always have a banana. So potassium, he would say potassium is good for that. So there's 1,000 techniques you can use. It depends where you're coming from in the first place. If you're naturally deficient on these things. Also, it could be to go and see a nutritionist because you may just be deficient on certain minerals in your body, which makes you more prone to that. So it may be just a simple place. You need to sort your diet out. It may just be as simple as that. But there's lots of ways you can do it. And that's what I wanted to say, really, in conclusion. But it's a big thing. And awareness is a huge thing. In mental welfare, I'm a mental welfare coach. One of the key things we look at is awareness, spotting the signs of if someone is anxious. And it can, the other day I was talking to my friend. His wife had been taken in the hospital, and was talking about oxygen levels, etc. Now I'm not a doctor, but those little pulse oxes, those little things you put on your finger, and it takes your beats per minute, etc. We had it on, and we were just talking to him, and we was talking about things. We noticed we talked about something that was mildly agitating, slightly stressful, how your numbers started to go the wrong way within seconds. It's amazing. So when you talk about soothing things, it all calmed down and the numbers got better. But we are very, very responsive to what's going on around us. And we mentioned earlier, the quality of the people we're with, that can make a big difference, right? As you said, we are the sum of the 5 people that we spend most time with. So be mindful who we choose to spend our time with. It will affect our well-being.
While you were talking, I was just looking up if I'm gonna make this book a free digital download for the next 3 days. So starting tomorrow, I won't be able to do it today, but starting tomorrow, you could go onto Amazon and download this as a free digital download, which gives you the 6 steps to reclaiming the present moment that we talked about earlier. So that's something that my gift to anybody who's listening, that for the next couple days, it will be on Amazon for free, but it'll start tomorrow, not today.
That's lovely. That's really, really nice. Nomsa, is there anything you'd like to encourage
Okay.
people to do? Or
Okay, for me, what I'll encourage you guys is what Grant and Amanda said, eat well, be aware of your body, and look after yourself. It's very, very important to actually, your well-being is very, very important, and sleep as well. Sleeping well is very, very important. And what else? And also don't compare your life with somebody else. It takes the joy of living and the power of gratitude as well. When you go through something, look at that small thing that you've achieved and give yourself that a credit and give God a credit as well if you're a Christian, and just pray. That's the only advice I can give you, Christians. Pray, meditate in the Word of God, and know that whenever you have a problem, imagine yourself going to the throne of grace in the third heaven when you look at God Himself. And if your life wasn't working, what would you do? Would you actually tell Him that, mourn it to Him, or will you ask Him to take away that pain? And if you see yourself with Him asking Him to take away the pain, what words would you say to Him? Will it be the words of praise, words of prayer, or what would you give? What would you do? Would you give Him praise for giving you life? And just do that. It works. For me, but what makes me the person that I am today is the gratitude. If I can tell you the things that I've been through, even I faced Lucifer himself, but what helped me to stay alive, to be here today, is gratitude. And also the important one that you need to do, don't deal with problems on your own. Seek help. Here at Ngosi Talk Shows, we have different coaches that can help you. One day when I have time, I will make my video how my journey with the Lucifer and all the pastors that were trying to kill me. I'll make that video. It will be a long, long video when I have the time. One day, guys, in January, it may be 2024. I can't promise you any. And how I survived. My survival, it was all about acknowledging that God gave me people on earth to seek help, and those people held my hand until I survived. And it was more like believing in myself and believing that God can actually help me to survive, and telling and facing that truth. What when you face the truth, if it's poverty, what you're facing, and tell yourself that, you know what, I'm facing poverty, but Amanda has a solution for me. Contact Amanda, get help. Don't be ashamed. These coaches at Ngosi Talk Shows, that they can give you 30 minutes free consultation. I don't know if everybody does it. I do 30 minutes consultation. Some coaches, they don't. If you go on the website, I know James Pierce doesn't give free consultation, but do you give free consultation, Grant?
Um, a brief consultation, yeah, a very, very brief. Depends what it's for. Yeah.
Yeah. Some coaches, they do, to understand your story. And
I
then
need,
once,
yeah. I
yeah,
need to understand where someone is before I start coaching them, but that's normally part of the package. But if somebody does want, we'd do a free, 20-minute strategy session. We would offer that.
yeah, so just if you need help, just seek help. Get in touch with, you can go in touch on the website, get in touch on my website with everybody. If you're looking for Grant, you can either find him on social media, or Amanda social media, or any coaches that Ngosi Talk Shows. Go on social media, contact them directly. If not, go to my website. You'll find my office number and my email address, and get in touch with me. I'll connect you with these guys straight away, or you can get in touch with me on social media as well. So I will do the same. It's just as simple as that. And also, if you're looking for matchmaking, go and fill out the application form on the website as well. Um, Women, some of them join for free, some of them they pay. So it depends with what kind of a membership you are looking for. Many, they are my clients, by the way, so they have to pay. So just go on the website, the instructions are there, then I'll get in touch with you. But the coaching is completely different. So if you want coaching, you have to look at the coaches or watch the videos here. Whoever the coach that you relate to, then I'll connect you with that coach. Grant, can you explain what kind of coach are you, and Amanda, before we leave?
I
Yeah.
have to go. I just wanted to touch really quickly on what Grant said about looking at like what nutrients you might be missing. There's a girl that I follow who I'm friends with, and her Instagram is called, I don't know if you can see it, but it's called the Woman's High Health Vibe. And she does a whole bunch of stuff about like your gut health. And she's absolutely amazing. And so if you start following her, you will even get tips on how to start looking at what you're putting into your body and how that might affect it. But I have to get to work at 7 a.m. here, and I have to
Sure.
get my dog. So have a fantastic day, everyone. And I hope that we gave you some strategies to help with your anxiety. Take care.
Can you send me the name Amanda on WhatsApp, please? The
Yeah,
woman. I need to follow her on Instagram.
it's fantastic. All right. Bye, guys.
Take care, Amanda. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Amanda. We're going as well. Grant, quickly.
Okay. Yeah, very quickly. There's a range of modalities I can take people through, from Socratic coaching, which is effectively a series of asking questions to get to the answer. I can mentor. I can facilitate groups, and I can do any energetic clearing, which is processing trauma. I'm a qualified hypnotherapist and a hypnotherapy trainer. a qualified NLP trainer. There's lots of modalities, but these are all tools. In the same way that a carpenter will have a hammer, a chisel, and a saw, these are just tools for getting the result. But the key thing is, if you have a problem, be that in your business, be it emotionally, all these things are connected because it's a 360-degree approach to getting you success. So that's why I call myself a success coach. So if we could help you with that, with any of the things we spoke about here, please reach out to Nomsa or contact me, as you see on the details there. And I'll be happy to offer a free 20-minute consultation to understand if we could be a good fit for each other and if I think I can help you. And if I can't, I'll be happy to recommend you to someone else. Nomsa.
Thank you so much, Grant. Me, I deal with the relationship, guys. I'm a love harmonist and a psychologist, a dating coach, and my coaching goes back to, we go to the foundation. Wherever you have a problem, I have to go back to your foundation. We go deep and look at the things, how your ancestors live, how your parents, your grandparents, are you living a life like father, like daughter, or like mother, like daughter? So we break all those chains and it's so beautiful when you look back and you break all the codes and then you open the floodgates of your life and live the life in your how you want it and how God created you, because we all have our destinies and we are unique as well. Our uniqueness is make us who we are today. So that's why I always, if you listen to my videos, I always urge people not to compare their lives with somebody else. It's very, very important. So live with grace, everyone, and God bless. I will see you tomorrow. And I think tomorrow I'm on my own. So I will see you tomorrow. And please go to the website and contact these guys for coaching if you need coaching. And Grant, you're a business coach as well, aren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. And also,
Yeah.
what happens in your personal life affects your business or your,
Yeah.
and what happens in your career affects your personal life. So it's all interrelated.
All
So
into one. Yeah.
some areas I coach people who are like C-suite, the CEOs, CFOs. So that's the executive coaching. Sometimes teams and groups in a company, and of course, people who work for themselves or have their own businesses and teams. So all of this, and of course, behind that veneer, what we see at work, there's a whole bunch of things going on at home or in their past, in their history, and that's the things that I can help people with to really get success. So my phrase, if you will, is the art of extracting latent potential. And we all have latent potential in so that's what I love to do. Nomsa, you've seen me work, you've seen me coach, and this is what I do for people all week long, is what I'm doing. So,
Yeah, and also soon we'll start doing the boot camp. I don't know when. I'm waiting for the boys. Guys, my company is, I'm surrounded by men. And men, when they have to finish the task, they take a very long time. Sometimes I want to scream, and God says, no, don't scream at them because they are so perfect. They want everything to be perfect. So I don't know when we start doing boot camp, maybe next month. So there'll be 3 days boot camp, country of our choosing around the world, wherever we want to go. And 7 days, that is executive intensive boot camp. And those who are in South Africa and the African countries, I'll be coming home, going around and doing boot camp wherever God calls us to go. We'll be there. So
I would love to.
that's
I would love to coach them away from perfection and just to being very good because you'll get more done.
oh my goodness, they are so perfect. And I was asking them today, there's some things they need to go live. I was like, is it ready? Yesterday, I was like, no, it's not ready. And I just want to scream. And God tells me, calm down. So I'm like, okay. But that's how it is when you work with guys. But I like working with men better. They get things done, although they take time sometimes. So yeah. Anyway, have a lovely day, guys. I have to go now.
Take care. Bye
Bye.
bye.